gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hi, welcome to a very special Sports Unfolded. We're actually going live once again. We're going to attempt this for the second time, seeing it went so well the first time. So we're hoping we get some fans out there to watch. I am, as you can tell, not in studio. I am on location at we'll call it the Casa de Eric, the man cave. Ron is in studio. Ron, how you doing?
I'm still at the studio. I still show up for work.
Yeah, I know. I'm late. I'm taking a break. I mean, I think I'm getting too big. I guess that's what we'll call it.
Yeah, and actually, of course, the producer's way out in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, so he wanted to have a good time, and this is what we came up with. So, as usual, if you haven't watched in the past, we're a sports debate show. We talk about several topics. Some local teams. We are in the New England area, but we also cover other teams, other areas. So as we get started here, we're going to go off with our leadoff story. And our leadoff story is about J.J. Watt, who signed a 2-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. The deal is worth $31 million, includes a $23 million guarantee. Watt is 31 years old, but he is joining his former teammate, DeAndre Hopkins, who got traded last season to Arizona, and they obviously have Kyler Murray, who's an exciting young quarterback. So I really, truly think that if you look at why he went there, there's a really good opportunity for him to win and win now. And that was something I know he was interested in. What's your opinion on that?
This could probably is signing of the offseason. And I'll tell you why. Arizona was a very good ball team last year. They were just missing that one guy that could gather all that young talent on defense and make it solid. If you looked at their offense and the opponent time of possession, the time of possession for the opponent was a little more. It's like 2 or 3 minutes more per game. With Watt there, he's going to be able to dictate how that defense plays. And I think those plays that were close but not close enough become a dominant effect for the Arizona defense. Because you look at that team, I mean, they had Reddick, who had 12.5 sacks last year, and they had 2 players, Baker and Hicks, with 118 tackles. And you put that young talent with Watt, it becomes better, and they'll stay on the field unless, of course, he spends a lot of time off the field.
Yeah, so again, injuries could be a concern. Again, 31 years old. He's had several injuries in his career. I like the partnership with Chandler Jones. So since 2012, between the two of them, they are the 2 top sack leaders in the NFL. So you think about the pressure they're going to be able to bring to the table. I think, Arizona just barely missed the playoffs. This probably gets them over the hurdle. At least they are a playoff contending team, if not possibly a Super Bowl contender, to your point. If J.J. Watt stays on the field healthy and is productive, this is a phenomenal signing.
If he stays healthy the whole year, probably be in one of the top 2 teams in that conference.
Yep. And again, it's still wide open. Again, they got Tampa Bay on the other side there that in the NFC. That's going to be the only true test. Who's going to match up against them defensively now, putting pressure on Brady. One of the things he hates. They have that piece with Watt and now Chandler Jones.
I think that's why they signed Watt.
Yeah, really, really, really great signing. Let's move on to the NBA. So we've obviously had some fan participation. Some fans actually have asked us to cover a couple other teams. So Mickey in Connecticut has asked if we could discuss the New York Knicks and are they serious contenders in the Eastern Conference? So they currently, before last night's game and the loss, they're now currently 18-18. So when I started writing the start, I'm like, yeah, they're doing pretty well, over 500. Last night they didn't do so well, and it ended up costing them. They're currently sixth in the Eastern Conference, only a game and a half up from being in the ninth slot and actually out of contention. So, what are your opinions on the Knicks?
Well, first off, they're not a contender. They're not a contender. I'm looking at the roster. Julius Randle is probably the only viable player right now. I think Derrick Rose has only got 12.5 points. Like, he's not Derrick Rose of the past. He's just not. And to me, this team clearly has not enough horses to do anything major. Like, they'll hang around for 3 quarters most of the time, and just the lack of experience and the lack of talent really is just not going to get it done. It's just not going to get done.
Yeah.
So
Julius Randle's having a phenomenal season. 23, almost 23 and a half, almost 11 rebounds, so double-double every night. RJ Barrett, last year's draft pick, honestly, has started to show some signs of improvement. 16 and a half, but he's only shooting
another year. Another year, we can be talking about this team.
Yeah, 43%. Percent shooting. So if you look at it, I mean, again, he's got to improve on that. He has to make sure that he gets a little better. I agree with you that Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, maybe 5 to 6 years ago, was a superstar. Unfortunately, Tim chimed in. Tim actually watched us on our roundtable last week. Tim, yes, we do sports as well. So thank you for tuning in.
Well, to another point of Derrick Rose, if it was the Derrick Rose of 5 or 6 years ago, then this team would be a contender, because that's the kind of player that can get all players playing better than what they can, and he's doing that, but he's not that good. So if I think he's only played 5 or 6 years ago, then this team could definitely contend for the East.
Yeah, and again, I think he's only played in 10 games with the Knicks. So again, maybe it's chemistry, maybe getting used to the players. But if he's not on to that level where 15 to 20 points a game, I don't think they have enough horses. They're ahead of Miami and Charlotte. Charlotte is a young and upcoming team. They look really good. They've got LaMelo Ball. He's playing, unworldly. Gordon Hayward, who came back, after Boston, granted he suffered another injury, but he was an all-star before that injury. So I think they've really got to try to stay ahead of a couple teams. Miami, again, was in the finals last year. So I really don't think they have a shot. I think they're a year away. I really, truly think that give them another year. Like you said, RJ Barrett maybe takes that next hurdle. It's all going to depend on Derrick Rose, to me, in my opinion. If Derrick Rose actually can produce to the All-Star level he was, or at least close to it, I think he has a really good.
When's the trade deadline?
It's right after the All-Star game, so it's coming up. It's probably another week or so.
If this team makes a trade to get somebody, to get another piece, I would rethink that, because if they do get another piece, I see them finishing above the Celtics.
Yeah, they could very well. And, Tom Thibodeau, he's a veteran coach who's been around, coached many, so he knows how to win. It's not a question about coaching. It's more about just, again, maybe another piece or two. But, Mickey, thank you for actually asking us to speak about the Knicks. And if anybody else has anything that they'd love to hear us talk about, feel free, shoot us. Plenty of opportunities at Facebook, at Sports Unfolded, Twitter at Sports Unfolded, Rhode Island Broadcasting. Anytime you want to just, like the page, send us a message through that. Send us a message as you're watching the live streams or actually the show. And, we'll be happy to try to answer those questions. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook as well. So a lot of ways to watch and a lot of ways to interact with us. Second question on the NBA run. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something?
No. Go ahead. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah. Second question was, and it's not really about stats or numbers. It's just, did Jason Tatum deserve to be named as the start of the All-Star? He's replacing Kevin Durant, who is currently nursing an injury and will not play in the All-Star game. Do you think it was a good thing for Jason Tatum to be named an All-Star starter?
No. No. Who do you put in instead of Durant? I don't know, but I don't think he should have started.
Yeah,
I don't.
Unfortunately, I think that it's going to obviously make his head bigger than what needs to be. This team still needs to understand that they need a challenge to be superstars, and I feel like this is going to give him more of an opportunity to feel like, hey, I'm an all-star starter now. Your team's barely over 500. And I don't think that gives him the motivation he needs to say, hey, look, I still got another level or two to go up before, I should be considered an all-star starter. He did have a birthday today, so we'll wish him a happy birthday, even though we're taking shots at him. But I truly think that the Celtics are going to regret the fact that he got named as an all-star starter.
I actually have to agree with you for the rare moment. It just kills me because he doesn't seem to possess that ither right now, and whether he can develop that, I don't know. I mean, you don't know anymore. I mean, what can affect a player? But right now, I don't see that, and I really wish that he got snubbed for the All-Star game altogether, because I think that lit a fire on it, and I think that could have gotten him going. But because he gets recognized and even called a starter, in his mind, he's going to be thinking, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And no, you're not. You're not leading his team. You're just there. And the Celtics don't need a player that's just there. They need a player to be part of something, to be leading something. And he doesn't have that thing that, like, say, a Garnett or a Paul Pierce or Larry Bird or a Kevin McHale. You can go on, Bill Russell. You can go on and on and on. He doesn't have that in him right now. And until he does, this is what you're going to get from the Celtics, underachieving.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Jaylen Brown made the team as well. So the two guys that we've been discussing, for the last couple of weeks, and how they need to really be the leaders of this team and get them over the hurdle, should have been much better than, a game over 500 at this point. Are both all-stars, and I think they're too young to understand that it's an honor and a privilege, but also, you're supposed to be leading the Boston Celtics and not trying to get these awards. That's not what's going to ultimately.
The Celtics should be one of the top two teams in the East right now. They should be one of the top two teams. And that's not even a question. On paper, they should be number one or number two, and they're not. So there's, like we said last week and the week before, there's something wrong. I mean, how long do we go on thinking that, everything is okay? I mean, are we delusional?
And the amazing thing, as I'm listening, we're hearing the Danny Ainge isn't going to use the trade exemption and actually get, a player. We're gonna just try to ride this out and see. But that's going to be unfortunate because I still think that, they had a shot. They had an opportunity here. So, unfortunately, we'll see how this pans out over the next week or so once the All-Star break is over and how they respond in the second half. Tim, again. Tim loves Ron. Ron is a jack of all trades. He does it all. Haven Shine reviews. Yep, he's everywhere. Sports Unfolded.
I am the Ryan Seacrest of Rhode Island broadcasting.
He's everywhere. So, really good discussion on the basketball.
The only thing is, I'm not dating a model. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
We got to look into this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what we can do for you. Let's move on to the NHL. ESPN recently came out with their NHL Power Rankings. And I'm having technical difficulties here. So the ESPN NHL Power Rankings, they rated Toronto number 1, Tampa Bay Lightning number 2, the Boston Bruins at number 3, Carolina Hurricanes at 4, and then the Vegas Golden Knights finished them out in the top 5. Thoughts, and my hockey guy Ron, what do you think? Did they get it right?
They got it. Only a couple of things right. They got Toronto and Tampa Bay right. As of right now, they got Toronto and Tampa Bay right. But we all know Toronto is going to choke in the playoffs, and that's that. But I don't even have Boston in my top 5, and I'm a Bruin fan.
Wow. Okay.
So, look, their goal scoring isn't there right now. So they should not be in the top 5. And they're third in their division. So how do you put them ahead of the 2 teams above them? But I have Carolina at number 3.
Okay.
And, they're scoring some goals. They are scoring. And, they're playing well. You got to watch out for that team. Carolina right now is for real. And then I have Winnipeg. And then I have Washington. And I have Washington and Boston, 5 and 6. Basically, we're on live, so tonight they play each other. So by the time this airs on Friday, we'll know who won. And the team that won obviously moves up above 5 in my book. So, but
they left out. So the other 5 teams that they had mentioned: Colorado, Florida, Philly, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. So you did put Winnipeg in there. Opinions on Colorado, Florida, Philly?
Colorado and Florida aren't even in my top 10. They're not in my top 10. I mean, I like them. They're good.
Yeah.
But for power rankings, no. Because they're just not scoring the goals right now. And they're doing it with defense. And to me, to be in the power rankings, you have to have that defense and that scoring. You have to have that punch. And they don't have the punch. The teams that I put up there, Edmonton, Vegas, Philly, and St. Louis round out my top 10. And those teams can score some goals, and they're still playing well defensively. So I don't buy Florida and Colorado right now. But do I think they'll be there in the end? Yeah, I think they will.
So we got
not the very end, but
Tim's going St. Louis. Tim is St. Louis.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're good, and they got, of course, Torrey Krug. So they have that punch. I mean, he's going to be a presence for them come playoff time. I think St. Louis is going to do some damage in the playoffs. They're so heavy to play against, and we all know what happens when you play heavy against a team that has a lot of finesse.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be an interesting. Well, you know what? I think we may have just come up with a new segment. Actually, we might be doing SU power rankings for these teams. So, we'll obviously try to get the fans involved. Tim already cast his vote. But, Tim, thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Let's move on to the Boston Bruins and their struggles with the New York hockey teams. It's not looking good against the Islanders. I know they're 0-3 against the Islanders.
The Isles are a good team, man.
They're a good team. They're not in your top 5, though.
No.
And you got Boston.
They have no offense. They're just so good defensively. They are so sound defensively. They're tough to play against.
So what does Boston have to do to get over that hurdle? Because they're going to probably face them in the playoffs.
The Bruins just need to start playing a full game against them. Like, you can't play 40 minutes against the Islanders because that last 20 is going to kill you. Like, it's simple as that. Like, we've seen it. Like, I've watched every game, and they play 40 minutes against the Islanders, and then the last 20 minutes, I don't know where their heads are, and they just get destroyed in that last period. And that's generally the Bruins' best period, is the third period. But against the Islanders, it's not. It's almost like the Islanders wear them down, and then they play sloppy, and the Islanders are too good defensively to do that. And then they bite them.
And what about the Rangers? I think they've split with the Rangers.
Nah, I think
not worried about that piece.
No. I think the Rangers are an average team, and look, they just caught the Bruins at the right time. You know, they just got blown out by the Islanders, so I think the Bruins came out strong. You know, in that game, and then they just took it for granted. Like, okay, we can turn it on at any time, and then they never did, and they got spanked. And then they came out the second game and said, okay, let's play our game from now on.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was different. Like, you could see clearly that they were playing smarter, even though they had like three defensemen out, Krejci's out, they had Wagner out of the lineup, but yet they still played well. And if all they have to do is just play their game. If they play their game, they're the best team in the league. Like, I truly believe that if they play their game, the Bruins are the best team in the league. They just got to play their game. They have to work. They can't just turn on a switch, because sometimes that switch doesn't just turn on.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You know, Boston is always in contention, so it's just a matter of, you know, how they play those games each and every night. It's going to make the difference. So obviously, we want to thank everybody that's tuning in live. We are doing a live broadcast here with the Rhode Island Broadcasting. We are also available on Facebook and YouTube every Friday night at 6 p.m. Do follow us there as well. Make sure you're commenting on our Facebook page at Sports Unfolded, or also on Twitter at Sports Unfolded. We'd love to hear from you. We do have some interesting comments coming in tonight. So today, actually, so Tim has been a big supporter. So Tim, we want to continue to thank you, because it's always nice to hear from our fans. You know, you did ask about WWE. We are looking into it, doing some wrestling talk as well. I'm sure it will come up at some point, but definitely. Maybe
there's a wrestling podcast out there that wants to be on Rhode Island Broadcasting.
You never know. Let's continue to get the more they communicate with us, right, the more opportunities we have to make this broadcasting, you know, an amazing thing. Let's move on to the pick and roll.
Pick and roll. You know, this is actually my favorite segment.
Pick and roll. Well, yeah, because you know what?
I love this segment.
Because you know what? You can always be wrong, and I'll always be right, but at least, you know, it's really what the fans say.
Wait, have I been wrong yet? I've been wrong.
I think I won the last one as well, but we'll see what you come up with today.
That's not what the fans said.
Pick and roll. So recently, Russell Wilson, who has not said he wants to trade overall, but is interested if he was getting traded. He named 4 teams: the Dallas Cowboys, the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and the Las Vegas Raiders. So what we're going to do here at the pick and roll is we're going to rack and stack which teams from 5 to 1 he should go to. And Seattle obviously would be an option as well. So the 5 teams. So do you want me to start since you started last week?
It doesn't matter.
All right. So I'll start us off. So at number 5, I have the Chicago Bears. So out of the 5 teams, to me, that are least attractive, they're probably unstable. Nagy, if they don't win, is probably getting fired as the head coach. I don't think. I mean, I love the looks, Ron. Yes. The Chicago Bears the least attractive out of all the teams based on the fact that the organization isn't sure what they're going to do. If he gets there and they don't win, they're firing the coach. I'm not sure if that's a good move for him. At number 4, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. I think what they would do is they'd give him the keys to the city. He'd be the face of the franchise, something that he's looking to do. Offensively, they have a lot of talent. Defensively, they need a lot of help. So it's about a wash with Seattle when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. I think he may have a little more talent in Seattle than he does in Vegas, but he's got Gruden, who's an offensive-minded coach. I think Gruden would definitely give him more opportunities to make decisions in the offense, which is something that he's kind of rumored to be upset about, is that they don't give him input when it comes to being in Seattle. Number 3, I put the Seattle Seahawks. Again, he knows the process. He understands exactly what he has to do, who he has there. They need to improve the offensive line. That's first and foremost. They need to improve defensively because they are definitely one of the worst defensive teams in the league. But I also feel, again, sometimes all these quarterbacks or all these players that are moving to different teams, he has an opportunity to stay with one team and do something special. They need to give him some input. He is the face of the franchise. They need to treat him like that. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason why I said the Dallas Cowboys is for a couple reasons. They've got Amari Cooper. They got Ezekiel Elliott. So I think they've got 2 stable offensive pieces that I think will definitely help him. But I also feel like marketing-wise, if we really look at what Russell Wilson's done in the NFL, he's been a stand-up guy, really hasn't gotten in trouble, really has, been the face of the league from a quarterback standpoint of not doing anything that is uncharacteristic of what the league wants. But marketing-wise, he really hasn't had the opportunity because he's not in a big market team. Seattle, as good as they are, isn't a big market team. Dallas gives him that opportunity. So from a branding standpoint, from endorsements, I feel like he'd have a great opportunity with the Dallas Cowboys to at least, start to grow that part of his career. And number 1, I had the New Orleans Saints. I think they have the most talent out of all the 5 teams that we've discussed. I think they have a very good defense. They're in a win now. You add Russell Wilson to that piece, they're Super Bowl contenders. I think they're neck and neck with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really think they beat the Buccaneers with Russell Wilson because I think that just gives them another element that they didn't have with Drew Brees. Russell can throw the ball, but he can also run the ball. He can get out of the pocket. He's got Michael Thomas. He's got, Kamara, superstar, offensive players. So to me, that would be my 5. So New Orleans, Dallas, Seattle, Vegas, and Chicago. What do you think, Ron? What do you got? Let me hear.
Has Breeze retired?
Not officially. Most reports are that he is going. I highly doubt he'd be back.
All right, so number 5, I had Dallas. Okay, you don't want to go to Dallas. I'm sorry. First of all, because all the fans love Dak Prescott, you have Jerry Jones. That is the reason not to go to Dallas. Jerry Jones is just going to stick his nose in there, and he's going to disrupt the team all the time, like he has for years. When do they win playoff games? They don't. Why? Because it's Dallas. Why this is America's team, I'll never know. It's just disarray because of Jerry Jones. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't go there just because of how they've treated Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott is a quarterback of color. And he's getting treated like this. I'm sorry, Russell Westbrook is no different. He's going to go down there and he's going to get treated the same. So that's my thought about Dallas. I would not even consider it. What he should have put on that list was New England Patriots is what he should have put on that list. Number 4, I have Vegas. I mean, come on.
We agree with that one.
Defense, you said it yourself. The defense is the reason not to go there because you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You might get to the playoffs, but you won't win the playoffs with that defense. So you explained Las Vegas Perfectly. Number 3, I have New Orleans. And I have New Orleans is because, if he does decide to go there and then Drew Brees says, hey, wait a minute, I don't want to retire. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to start Drew Brees. So
I'll trade him. Trade him.
They won't trade Brees. They won't trade Brees. Because they're going to look at it like Tom Brady. It's like, oh, we can't do that now. Look what they're going through in New England. So that would be number 3. And you said it might be the best team, but until Brees says, hey, I'm not playing anymore, I don't go there. Number 2, I have Chicago. And I have Chicago because this is a team that I thought underachieved last year. I think they have the tools both on offense and defense. It isn't as good as New Orleans, but it's right there. It's right there. And a quarterback with that experience and that good, he's talented, I think could really tip the scales over the way that they need to have it done. And that would be the team. Other than number 1, stay in Seattle. What the heck are you doing? Like, why are you going to try to go to a team that might not have all the pieces that you have? You have the pieces. Play. You blew a chance throwing the ball instead of just running it. You had another Super Bowl in your hands. You have the team already. Stay in Seattle. That is the best option. The best option.
So we disagreed on most. I think we only had Vegas as the same.
Yeah, that was the only one I was saying.
That's pretty funny.
And Tim agrees with me.
Yeah, Tim loves you. So no matter what,
I know.
You haven't been wrong in Tim's
He's my
eyes
favorite
yet.
fan.
What I would say is this: the only thing I agree with you, Chicago's defense. I think you're right, spot on. They rank in the top. I think since Nagy's been there in the top 5.
Yeah.
So defensively, they're very
And they have that talent on offense. To me, they're just like New Orleans, just without the experience.
Yeah, I might have bumped them up. I probably put them ahead of Vegas, then maybe 4 over 5. But I still don't think, from a marketing standpoint, Dallas would be so good for him.
Yeah, I'm not worried about marketing. I'm worried about the actual team.
Financially, those guys sometimes they've got to look at that piece as well.
Yeah, well,
all right. Let's stick with the NFL. Let's talk a couple of things here. So first question would be, is the Tom Brady effect good for the NFL? So what the Tom Brady effect is players going, to teams just to try to build a super team, similar to what the NBA does now, where, James Harden went to, New Jersey because he wanted to make sure. I love Ron. Hold on. I gotta read this one. I love Ron, but you're more sports knowledgeable.
Okay.
Sorry, Ron. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Finally.
Well, we'll see who's right, though. We'll see who's right.
So the Tom Brady effect, players going, to try to build a super. So Tom, when he went to Tampa Bay, gets Antonio Brown, gets Rob Gronkowski, gets Fournette. You're starting to see now a lot of these quarterbacks trying to bid to where they want to go, what teams, what players they want to bring with them. Is it good for the NFL?
Absolutely not. This is, I've been wanting to say something about this for a long time. With the NBA, I hate it. I hate that these players are now dictating where they're going and what team they're gonna stack and win a championship, because that's all it is now. It's all it is. It's reversed collusion. They were pissed off when the team started doing stuff like this, and now they're doing it and they're getting away with it, and I hate it. And this is why I really don't like the NBA, because basically the players are dictating who wins the championship. So, I'm going to go here. So you go there and you go there and we'll win the championship. That's crap. That is horrible, and it doesn't belong in sports. Not for the owners, not for the players either. And it should work both ways. And now the NFL is going to go this route, and it's going to be terrible. Football will be ruined.
So it was funny because as I started to think about it, and I'd love to disagree with you, and I can't. it was funny because as we were in studio last week and you had your Stephon Gilmore jersey on, and I said it's so hard nowadays to even buy a jersey. Like as soon as you think you have a young superstar, a young quarterback, or a young running back, or wide receiver, and you're like, oh, this is going to be the guy for the next 10 years that I can root for. I'm going to buy his jersey. I'm going to be supportive. 3 years down the road, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I like so-and-so better. We were at the Pro Bowl together. We had a good time. I'd really like to play for him.
Yeah, that's what it's becoming.
And it's a shame because as much as I'm a New England Patriot fan and, seeing Tom Brady be successful in Tampa Bay, I know there's a lot of Brady fans out there. As a New England Patriot fan, it should have broke and ripped your heart out because that's our quarterback. That was our quarterback for 20 years. And you rooted for him every Sunday for 20 years. And then I have to watch him go somewhere else, and we can blame whoever we want to blame. But the way the industry is set up now and the way things are going, this is going to be more consistent. We're going to see a Russell Wilson, who's the best quarterback in Seattle Seahawks franchise history, go to another team because he didn't get enough input on offensive schemes. Yeah, you're going to have a Dak Prescott who's playing for the Dallas Cowboys, who honestly has done more for that franchise in the last 5 years than they've been in the last 20. And he's going to end up having to go somewhere else because they refuse to sign him. Like it's just getting out of control.
It is. And like, I really hate this. Like, I hate it because like you said, you can't buy a jersey anymore because they're going to be gone in 2 years. It's to the point where it's ridiculous. There is no such thing as a franchise anymore because of this. It's like you got players all across. Like, remember the days when Phil Simms, okay, what the Giants, okay, Terry Bradshaw, Pittsburgh, this is what Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, you name a player, they were with that team forever. Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions. Like, whether they were good or not, it didn't matter. You knew where the stars were from. Now, Antonio Brown, who the hell does he play for next year? Right? You know what I mean? It's like he's been on every team practically. This is not what superstars are supposed to be. They're supposed to be marked by a franchise. Like, I hate it. I hate it. It's like you can't have it's the same thing in baseball too. It's like, come on, like Mookie Betts should have been a Boston Red Sox forever. Forever. No, can't have it. Can't have it. Why do we want to have a franchise player if you're just going to trade them?
Yeah, and so the unfortunate part is, though, we've got to look at both sides of the table. So how many times does a player sign a contract and the team trades him? Right? But at the same time, how many times do we say a player signed a contract, why doesn't he own up to it and just, honor it? So it's so hard to judge. I mean, once you become a free agent, to me, if you've honored your contract, you've went through the process, and then you decide the next best thing for me to do is go to another franchise, I understand that. I don't understand where these players feel like it's okay to just say, well, Tom's in Tampa, and we've already heard about it for next offseason. This guy's going to take less money. This guy's going to try to sign there. This guy wants to play there. Like, the NFL's always been balanced. Every year it was interesting because you just didn't know which teams were going to get it. And now you're already starting to say, okay, well, Tampa Bay's the favorite again because they're going to bring in more players because Tom's there and that's what they're going to do. It's changing the whole outlook of the NFL. It's a bad look for the NFL, and I really think at some point they're going to have to figure out how they can, stop.
I mean, it's almost at the point, Eric, where you just say, okay, so Tampa Bay and Kansas City in the Super Bowl next year. So why play the season?
Yeah,
it's almost at that point because, like, when you look in the NBA, who's going to win the championship?
Yeah, we're looking at New Jersey. We think in New Jersey,
right? I mean, so New Jersey, and the Lakers maybe. In the championship, like it shouldn't be like that. You should not have to be able to tell what the championship game is going to be before you even get to the playoffs. And not for nothing, I like the way the NHL is set up because, like, you look around, there are easily 10 to 14 teams that could win the Stanley Cup. They could win it.
No, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Real quick, former New England Patriot linebacker Kyle Van Noy was released by the Dolphins after 1 year with the team. Should New England bring him back?
Yeah.
Or attempt to?
What else do they got? So, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, he played really well for them last year
You
with
know
the
what you're
Dolphins.
going to get out of him.
So,
Bill Belichick knows what he's going to get with him. And I'm sure he's probably going to sign him.
If financially they can figure something out that works, I think that's a great signing. But little surprising that Miami released him so quickly.
I am too.
Kyle Rudolph has been released by the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, they need a tight end. We do have on Sports Unfolded Facebook page a poll. If you think New England should sign him, if you are watching and are interested, please go to @Sports Unfolded on Facebook and vote yes or no on the New England Patriots attempt to sign Kyle Rudolph to the team next season. Let's go over to Major League Baseball real quick, and obviously with spring training and just starting off, I guess the quick question would be, and we'll keep this brief because we will be breaking down the MLB, once the season starts.
You want me to be brief?
Yes, we're gonna have to be. I think we're running. We're running.
All my notes on this.
I don't know, buddy. It's an hour show, unfortunately. We still got some more stuff to talk about. But do the Boston Red Sox legitimately have a shot at winning the AL East?
No.
Or is Tampa Bay or New York the teams to beat?
And I hate to burst your bubble about Tampa Bay. I don't even like Tampa Bay better than the Red Sox, and I don't like the Red Sox.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost Snell, they lost Martin. But they do have Kevin Cash, who's probably one of the best managers in baseball. I mean, if you think about what he's worked with Tampa Bay, sometimes that experience does come in handy because Tampa Bay's never really had superstars. They've had good players who they've ended up, making them better as a manager. So I agree. I don't think Boston's actually going to be there.
Look, I did the numbers. I went position by position, looked at everything, and I like the Yankees are far and away better than anybody in that division. Anybody. The Red Sox are a distant second, but they're way ahead of everybody else in that division.
But what about Toronto, though? Toronto.
I looked at Toronto, and I like the lineup.
Springer.
That pitching staff is terrible. Terrible. So just because of the pitching staff, that's not going to hold up. It's not going to hold up. So I just think the Yankees are just far superior than anybody in that division. And we'll just say that the wild card is not coming out of this division.
No, yeah, you're right.
It's not happening.
Right. Yeah. Again, Yankees. I agree. Are the best team in the AL East.
I mean, you started out with Cole and Kluber. I mean, come on, that's not even fair.
So again, health, and we discussed it last week. Health's going to be the biggest obstacle for them. If they stay healthy, that team wins 100+ games. It's just going to be a matter of health and them, continuing to drive that.
Yeah, best catcher, best catcher, best outfield, best
Sanchez
starting pitching, best second baseman. Right down the list.
Yeah. So again, health in the bats.
Not the healthiest bunch, though.
No, and the bats definitely have to continue to produce. If you are joining us, we are live. We are live here today on Rhode Island Broadcasting on YouTube. Please make sure that you like the page. Make sure that you like and comment. We've had several comments already today. Tim, always one of our biggest fans. We appreciate it. Do follow us on Twitter and Facebook @Sports Unfolded. We look forward to hearing your comments. We do have polls posted, so you have an opportunity there to vote on some of the topics that we are discussing, and also to comment on who wins some of these debates. Today hasn't been too many debates other than our pick and roll, which definitely we were completely different on. So, let us know who was right. Who do you feel had the best opportunities to win that debate there? We're going to move on to our face-off. Our face-off actually today is about Major League Baseball. And should the MLB you have a universal DH? DH. Why don't we ask Tim? Tim, who would you like to vote for a DH universally? And who would you like to argue against having a DH? Let's see if Tim can chime in for us. Hopefully. If not, we're going to have to go to our producer and see who we can get. Yeah.
So basically, one of us has to argue for putting a DH in the National League.
Yes.
Or against putting a DH in the National League.
Yes. So maybe Tim.
Interesting. Come on, Tim.
Ron against. All right. Yeah. So, Ron, you are against having a DH in the National League.
I think I'm first, too, aren't I?
I think you are. So let's see what you got. Whenever you're ready, you'll let me know.
All right, I'm ready.
And go.
All right. First of all, DH doesn't even belong in baseball because, it's tradition. The National League is tradition. That is what baseball was when it first started, and that's the way it's supposed to be. The pitchers hit. So if you get somebody up at the plate and you want to brush them back or throw a ball at somebody, you got to remember you're going to be up in the batter's box, come around that rotation in the lineup. And so, yeah, you can brush somebody back, but expect it back to you. And that's the way baseball polices itself. I mean, before you know it, we're going to have 10 starting pitchers in the rotation if we keep up this way. I mean, it's getting ridiculous already. Let the people get out there, pitch. That's what it's all about. You pitch, then you get up and you swing the bat. Babe Ruth did it.
Time. All right. Whenever you're ready, you let me know, Ron.
Oh, yeah, I got to time you, huh?
Got to time me, buddy. Let's see. Let's see if I can make Tim proud. Tim, you let me know. So yeah. I am for the DH. I am for the DH.
What am I doing? Timing?
1 minute, buddy. On the clock.
All right, 1 minute. And you ready?
Absolutely.
Go.
So think about the disadvantages sometimes when they play in the World Series, and you got to have these pitches from the American League and a National League park, and you have to bat. So why not just make it universal? Have a DH. How many people want to see a pitcher go 0 for 3, 0 for 4? It doesn't make any sense if you think about some of the injury problems that they can have. Results from just swinging a bat when they don't need to. These teams are paying these pitchers to pitch. There's plenty of players that could probably cross over and have a longer career if the NHL, if the National League had a DH, not the hockey league. That'd be a little weird. But right, there are opportunities there for players to go to other teams, other cities, carry on a career. You can't do that now. You only have a handful of teams. You have 16 teams that you can play for as a DH. Some of these guys are a little older. They may not be able to play positions, but they can definitely hit. They can definitely still swing a bat. So, great debate. I love it. Great debate. As the fans, we ask that you continue to vote. Let us know who you felt won. Tim, I hope I made you proud.
If you need a DH in the NHL, you let us know.
You did call Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook, by the way, just so you know. I did? Oh, yeah, so
I knew I was going to do that.
We both made a couple mistakes. I did want to chime in, and this is something that I do. I don't know why I feel I have to rebuttal. So last week's face-off, as some fans voted, they believe you won. It was a clean sweep. Tom Brady was more important to the Patriots organization than Bill Belichick. And all I will say to you and to all those fans that voted out there, those were some great defensive calls that Tom Brady made on the sidelines to stop Peyton Manning from scoring, or some of those great calls to when we're kicking a field goal or the key punts. Tom Brady, great job doing all that. There's 3 phases to football, but Tom Brady's the most important thing ever in the history of the New England Patriots.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I still disagree.
Look, Tim even agrees that I won, and the fact that I had to argue the point that against what I believed. I think that they should have a universal DH, and I had to argue against that, and I still gave a great argument.
You gave a great argument. Tim, I'm sorry I didn't make you proud on that one, buddy. Yeah, that was probably one of my better arguments, but no, I agree. Should be a DH across the board. Makes more sense. But yes, make sure you wrote Rhode Island Broadcasting. Continue to vote. Vote on Facebook. Vote on Twitter at Sports Unfolded. I really love to hear from you. Really like to know if you have a topic that you'd like for us to debate on next week's face-off. How great would that be that we could get a fan to give us next week's face-off, Ron, and we'd be able to do that. Ron won. Ron, you're already up 1-0 again. I think you're
nothing, but we still have this airing Friday night. So
Friday night, 6 p.m. We'll see. All right. Right now, you're up. All right, let's go on to our predictions. So our predictions for this upcoming week. Right now, currently standing, we're 1-1 off of last week, but there's a couple.
Go figure. I lost the hockey one.
Yeah. Aha. The hockey guy lost the hockey one. All right, so let's look at on March 6th at 1 p.m. Philly at Pittsburgh, NHL.
I got to go Philly. I think they're just tougher. I think Pittsburgh is just floundering right now. They have so much talent, but I don't think they've put it together yet. So I go Philly.
I agree, Philly. I go Philly. Sidney Crosby might be out, with COVID protocol. So that obviously hurts Pittsburgh a little bit. But I really think that I agree with him.
Crosby's out?
Currently, yes, he's out.
So he's not going to play in that game?
Not necessarily. Well, he's under protocol. Let's see what that entails. I don't know. Again,
because I think if he's out, I'd go with Pittsburgh.
Okay, well. How about on March 9th, Boston at the Islanders? Boston currently 0-3 this season, outscored 12-4. Is this the day that they break it?
See, the brain wants to tell me to go with the Islanders because that's the smart pick now. Because the Islanders are just playing better.
Yeah.
But then you think, okay, well, they got to crack through it eventually, right? So the fourth game in, they win because, they've lost 3 already against them. So you go with Boston, right? Right? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to think that, okay, just because they lost 3 in a row to Islanders, I'm going to go with Boston.
Okay, I'm going the Islanders. I don't think Boston has figured out how to beat them. They recently showed that they couldn't beat them. So it's not like months have gone by and they figured some things out. I think it's still, it's only been about a week and a half. So I'm going the Islanders on that one. All right, NBA. There's not much going on before we film again next week. So we're East versus West. All-Star game. I know you already said you're not watching it, but who do you got? Who are you picking?
Well, I don't have a coin. All right, where are they playing? In Atlanta?
In Atlanta. So an Eastern Conference.
So arena. I'm going to go East because they're going to try to set it up so that way whoever's there from that area is going to score a billion points.
All right. I'm going West. They got the old talent, but a lot of just look like a little more superstars. East is younger, so I don't know if that's going to play a factor. So I'll go West. But if you, as the fans, have any ideas of who they'd want to pick, let us know. Again, follow us. So many different areas, so many different ways. So let us know. But currently we're 1-1. But let's look at.
Watch Tatum go off and give us a reason to think that he was great.
Yeah, and then you know what'll happen? We'll go sub 500 the rest of the season and blame.
And then he'll go 1 for 14 in the next game.
Yeah, with Boston. Yeah, that's. I'm with you. I'm not afraid to watch because if I see him do that, I'm going to be really upset. All right, so let's go into our final thought. Final thought is just again anything that it may not just automatically be about sports. It could be about anything that's going on in the world, what's happening. I went first last week, so I'll go last this week. So, Ron, you're up on your final thought.
All right. I want to expand on this build your own team idea that runs rampant in the NBA. Look, like players are kind of like now overstepping their bounds. Like, I know there's a lot of things that the players are right about, and the owners of teams just keep taking and taking and taking and taking. But it isn't right that the players are allowed to basically get together with a group of friends that play in the league and say, hey, let's all play on the same team next year and win a championship. Like, that's not sports. It's just not sports. Do we care that, like our team may not have all the stuff? No, we don't care. We just love the game. But we don't like the game when you're going against a team that is just stacked because the players want it to be stacked. And it isn't right. It isn't sporting at all. And it just shouldn't be allowed. And I keep hopping on that. And I really want some sort of collusion rule to be against that as well.
No, great point, Ron. Thank you. Mine is on James Harden. James Harden is returning to Houston tonight, his first game since leaving the team. And I know our instant reaction as a fan is that we want to be upset. To Ron's point, with these super teams and what they build. But we also got to remember as fans that the good times of what they brought, what he meant to that organization, how at some point that organization deserved to give him better players around him to honestly help him win a championship. He's one of the top NBA players. And yet somehow they always didn't get him a piece or a couple pieces that would have actually got them over the top. So the organization is just as much to blame for him leaving. He went to a team that he feels gives him the best opportunity to win a championship. A lot of these guys play their entire lives to win a championship. That's why they're playing these sports. It's the organization's, opportunity to provide that to them and help them get to that point. That didn't happen with James Harden. I may not be a huge James Harden fan, but I really feel like he deserves a standing ovation when he gets back to Houston tonight. Because, again, that team, if you see what they're at now, I think they've lost 12 straight, 13 straight. He single-handedly made that team a playoff contender and possibly an NBA Finals contender every year. Let's remember that. And not, that he left to go to a greener pasture with a team that was willing to put players around him. So, good luck, James. I hope the fans in Houston, any of them that are watching, think about what you're going to do before you actually do it. He deserves a standing ovation.
Well said.
Thank you. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for tonight's show. Really appreciate all the fan participation. Tim, you've been amazing today. Really appreciate all the feedback. Tim, make sure you tell your friends about us. Rhode Island Broadcasting, Sports Unfolded, a lot of great shows on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We are on every Friday night at 6 p.m., YouTube, Facebook. So really good opportunities. Real snippet next week, we will break down the NBA All-Star. So that's something to look forward to next week. So if you do tune in next week, expect some basically NBA All-Star talk. Let's see how that goes. And once again, I want to sign off by just saying thank you so much for all the support. We appreciate it. Kel, great job from Puerto Rico. You really helped us out today by making sure that we didn't miss a week. So we appreciate it. We appreciate the fans. Everybody have a great night.
Have a good one.